got your interest in design?
From the beginning, I was very interested in creative processes, about creativity. It was, since the beginning, the best way to express myself. And so when I was a child already or at school, and it was always about building things, working with materials. And then at the end, I discovered the profession to be industrial designer, and this was the best way for me to get my passion, what I really like, to a professional profession.
How would you say, when was the moment that was kind of a border between when you were a newcomer, a young designer who was trying to push his ideas, and afterwards you became a successful designer who's everybody looking for?
I think in general for young designers it always takes like maybe 5 years, also for young brands, to really get the right audience, that people appreciate you, that they follow you. And now this is really amazing now what changed. So at the beginning I was knocking at doors at the brands. Now they call me or send me email if I would like to work with them. So it's really a privilege nowadays.
Do you remember your first object?
The first object I designed, of course there was several I did when I was at university in Offenbach, which is next to Frankfurt. But one of the first one 10 years ago, it's the bell table, which is displayed here also in the presentation.
How would you revise it at the moment?
Of course you are always learning from every single collaboration, but I think it was the right piece for the right time, and it's still very, very successful. When I designed it in 2009 for Salone Satellite, which is a young designer platform in Milan, I was really looking into crafts and real materials in brass and in glass, and I found this beautiful workshops with all the amazing craftsmen I can work with, and they developed together with me this product, but the problem was that time that it was impossible to find a company who want to produce it or put it in the portfolio. And it took me 3 years to find the company Classicon. When I designed it in 2009, it was about new materials, about new technologies, and not something related to traditions. But now it's a very successful product. Now on the fair here at Objet, you see a lot with glass and with brass.
What was the hardest object to produce?
If you consider the Dedon collection at the entrance, it took us 3 years to finish the design, to make everything the way we wanted to have it, to get it very precise. And even the seating shell was a long time of development to get the wicker work very precise. And still today it takes 4 days a craftsman to do the seating shell.
Why is your interest? Where did your interest come from?
I think working with craftsmen means also to have another quality in the product. It's the same in fashion. If you have a well-crafted leather bag, it's another quality. And for me it's important to work with people together, to have the conversation, to discuss the project with them, to observe them and to give them a challenge. So I really like the direct contact, and they are really my heroes because they can transfer my sketches and 3D drawings and things really in a nice product. And crafts is always connected to a culture. I think you have it in Russia the same. We have areas for glass in Germany, areas for furniture making, areas for cutlery, knives and things like this. And I think this is very important because craft is always connected to a city or area, and it gives an identity to the community there, and it puts people together.
But is it easy to produce your ideas?
I think you have to be curious. It's about respect, and you just have to start a discussion with them. I always say to young designers, I recently have been also for a talk in St. Petersburg. Right. It's always the best to start in your area, to look for craftsmen, to look for something which is connected to the city and the area, something local, because it's also easier for young designers to work with, because then you don't have the expenses to travel around Europe. But at the end, to work with the designer, to have a design piece, it's a huge advantage also for the company, because the feedback is completely different. Also the financial or economical effect is a completely different one. I'm now based in Offenbach, where I also studied since 18 years now. And it was the German leather city. The production of Mont Blanc, for example, was there, but it's completely gone. So somehow the city lost its identity. And I think really it's important to support crafts, but I also learn a lot from them. So it's very interesting aspect in my work. I work with craftsmen around the world, so they are from Japan to Colombia and South America to Africa, a lot in Europe, but also German, of course.
Can you tell what origin does the object have just from the look?
I think nowadays it's somehow more difficult to find it, because in the past, like Bauhaus 100 years ago, it was really connected to Germany. Then there was Memphis in Italy, which was typical Memphis. Nowadays, with the globalization, with the internet, with Instagram, WeChat in Asia, it changed a lot. Our generation has a very quick connection to information, and we share a lot. So I think there's a European trend or direction, there's for sure an Asian one, but to see really a German design and a French and an Italian or Russian, I think this is more and more difficult to find. Because we are also traveling a lot, you know, there are Russian students studying in Germany, the Germans have an exchange semester in St. Petersburg or Moscow. I think we are completely different connected, and I think that's also a good effect nowadays. We have to be open-minded, curious about other cultures. I like also this intercultural process.
What do you know about Russian design?
To be honest, I don't know that much about Russian design. I know a little bit about crafts, because I just have been once for 1 or 2 nights in St. Petersburg, but I will be soon in Moscow early in April. That's contemporary. That's a new one.
That's a new one, newcomer.
Oh, it's difficult. It could be also 60s. It's difficult. No? Nowadays, I think it's very difficult
To tell.
Let's say newcomer.
Well, that's a young company, but they are quite famous. Actually, I rediscovered them when we were in New York, and the guys from New York told me about this Russian company who's they're following them on the Instagram, and they're from St. Petersburg, and they have like a very cool production, so they're really famous. This one.
Also contemporary.
This one, yeah, it's really newcomer, and this is like the first.
Because you see it with the production way, because it's CNC milled.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the first objects he ever done. What about this one?
That's an old one, 70s.
Well, no, actually, this is those are all new objects, but they are just different experience of the design.
Okay.
So, yeah. What about those?
New.
Newcomer?
Yes.
No. This is one of the most experienced designers in Russia. This guy, we have actually 2 designers that work with the global brands, and this guy is one of those 2.
Okay, but how old is the design? It's new, no?
The design, yes, the design is quite fresh. It's maybe last year.
That's why I thought new.
Yeah,
okay, but the designer is established. Okay.
Yeah. All correct.
It's a young designer.
Yeah, that is correct. This is from Salon Satellite this year.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. That one.
Established designer.
Well, she's learning. She's studying.
Really?
Yeah. But she has a high potential. So no, this one. Yeah, that one. What do you think of that?
Could be actually both. Let's say a young designer.
Yes, you're correct. This is also the first object he had.
Okay. Established designer.
You're correct.
It's like a coffee bean. Established designer.
Yes, also correct. There are interior designers that also produced it.
Established designer.
Yes. That's actually.
Some.
That's all.
It was not so bad.
So what did you think of what you just said? Like the quality of the objects?
I think it's good, and I was just wondering, does it look Russian? But I don't think that you can see, if you see all the pictures on the table next to each other.
Right.
I think it's difficult to say if it's a Russian design now or Italian or.
Okay.
Because the influence and inspiration we get more or less all the same now, online in our digital